All right, looks like we are live. Fantastic. Well, if this doesn't actually broadcast later, I'll double check and I'll fix it. Hi, so my name is Michael, and I am here to do a little bit of an AI thought experiment. The idea being very simply that I want to see whether or not a GPT can run a startup, or at the very well least can sort of provide a guidance or even like the kind of founder level advice for an existing startup, kind of in the tech industry. Now, I realize this brings up a whole bunch of really interesting questions. Uh, if you have worked in any kind of large organization, you realize that one of the biggest issues to sort of real innovation is so this idea of organizational momentum. It's what I like to call tacit knowledge, things that have gotten um, baked into the organization to such a degree that the momentum itself carries it forward, right? Now, some people look at that as stodgy old corporations. Other ones say, you know what, we figured out our business model and we don't really want to diverge from it too much. Uh, since I've recently exited from Broadcom, that was very much kind of the latter approach. They're like, we have business lines, we don't really need to innovate, we're just going to make money with what we have. Right? And on the flip side, you had a culture like VMware that constantly tried to kind of like spin up tiny individual teams to figure out, okay, is this going to work? Is this going to work? Is this going to work? But having said that, uh, one thing that I've noticed um, through many, many organizations is that you end up with sort of organizational blinders, right? This idea that you're used to doing things a certain way. And I really think that ChatGPT or an AI, because it has such a broad source of data to work with, is able to say, hi, is able to kind of derail you from that and say, I'm going to present you with a slightly different approach to these kinds of things, right? I don't think these AI models are sort of organizationally bound, but maybe they are. Maybe the continuous input as you build these sort of personalities will come with their own uh, sort of organizational momentum. Right? Who knows? At best, this will be a really interesting thought experiment, and we might actually get something off the ground. At worst, this will be a hilarious train wreck, and you know, it's. I'm happy to have you guys along for the ride. So, episode one, we are going to actually start introducing ChatGPT to the world. We're going to just start training it and basically saying, "Hey, come on, you are a founder of a," and let's give it some basic parameters. You're a founder of a bootstrapped startup, and well, what assets do you have? You have access to myself. You have managed managed to convince a senior engineer, senior architect with deep experience in Angular, identity, and SaaS services to do your engineering work for you for free. Um, it's now your goal to uh, let's give it a time horizon in the next 60 days. And the reason I say 60 days is because 60 days is when my own garden leave expires from Broadcom. And I figured, if this startup becomes viable, why the hell not, right? Or maybe I will have another job lined up by then. Doesn't matter. We're going to time bound it to 2 months. And if it works out, it works out. So you have in the next 60, it's now your goal to, in the next 60 days, to um, found this startup and make it interesting and successful enough to either become actually, let's just say to found the startup and make it a viable business. Viable business. Okay, so let's see. Congratulations. Okay, it seems to be a little bit confused about what it's doing, but it is giving me a basic outline of what should be done over the next few weeks. So that's kind of cool. I want to call this one AI CEO. Okay. Let's give it a few more assets to work with because I already have, I mean, I'm an engineer. I already have a variety of different domains to access. So let's double check. And we have a domain name. Well, let's not worry about the domain name just yet. Let's actually go through and say, all right, foundation and planning, week 1 and 2. Well, this is pretty cool because this will let me straight out uh, select and say, hey, I'm going to create an episode for every single one of these things. So define the vision and mission for week 1 and 2. So that gives us 2 weeks to do this. What are we doing? Market research, business model, legal setup. Okay, that's pretty soon. Then we're going to move into MVP development, product planning. What is the minimum viable product? What is technical setup, start development? This makes sense. Focus on core features and user flows. Okay. Marketing and branding. Interesting. Testing and feedback, internal testing, and beta launch. So by week 8, so that is 2 months from now. Now, I know I personally don't have that kind of time, but you know what? It's worth giving a shot. Then 9 through 10 and 11 through 12 official launch. So this looks pretty good. So um, the one thing I am going to change here is I'm going to say, hey, we're going to convince it that it should refer to itself as the CEO, right? Um, Please refer to yourself in the first person. Come on, you are the founder here. Here's my plan. There we go. Much better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some notes. I'm going to open up IntelliJ here because I did not actually install my usual Markdown editor on this new laptop. So we'll just start with define the vision mission. Okay, let's just start here. Okay, let's define the vision and the mission. All right, vision to empower, derive insights from their data, transforming the way they make decisions and drive innovation. Sure, I don't know what that means, but sure, let's go with that. And mission to provide an intuitive, reliable, and secure ETL platform that allows users of all technical backgrounds to effortlessly manage data pipelines of their infrastructure, ensuring data privacy, efficiency, and accessibility. Okay, so this is interesting because for some reason it has actually already come up with products. Now, I don't know whether or not it's reading my mind, but I have in the past thought about sort of a really, really simple, easy to use ETL platform kind of across the board, like, hey, this would be awesome to do. And this, it kind of played in the space of back when big data was a thing to kind of create the big data warehouse where you would actually like be able to list your data set or post a data source and either subscribe people, you know, pay for a subscription and pay for all these other things, or pay for a subscription, pay for access, pay for downloads, and perhaps more importantly, have the tools necessary to pare down and massage your data and verify your data in a meaningful way before you actually download it, because this pile of data is huge, right? So, key points for the mission: user-centric design. Now, fair warning, I did not prompt ChatGPT about this, but let's go with this. Let's see who all is in this, okay? So let's see. We're going to go ahead and create a new project. And we're going to go ahead and create this on my desktop because why not, right? New folder. And we're going to call this CEO Startup or a GPT Startup. Okay. And let me pull up IntelliJ in this window. And let's start a brand new project here. It keeps pointing this over. Okay. We're going to put this into desktop GPT Startup. And let us call this phase 1. And according to it, phase 1 is foundation and planning. Okay. let's open this, create Git repository, environment type, this virtual env. Oh no, this isn't a Python thing. I don't want a Python. We'll call this one phase one. And we're going to call this an empty project. Again. Fantastic. Install AI Assistant. What could possibly go wrong if we have more AIs involved? Let's do it. Phase one.yml. So these are general idea files. So let's just create a new file, and this is going to be the vision. We're going to use Markdown for the time being because I like Markdown. And according to it, our Markdown vision is going to be, let's close this for now. Seamlessly manage and derive insights from the data, transforming the way we make decisions and drive innovation. Okay, great. That's fantastic. Next, mission. And there we go. Let's do this. Okay. To provide an intuitive and secure ETL platform that allows users and technical backgrounds to effortless. So what I'm not noticing here is that we don't actually have a target market yet. We don't know who the actual customer is going to end up being. So let's take a quick look-see at what it's trying to ask me to do. Okay. User-centric design. Okay. Interface is easy to use for both technical and non-technical. Yeah, that makes sense. Some of this stuff is a little bit misformatted. Okay. Clearly, it hates me right now. There we go. Let's ignore the formatting. I can format this later. Create an interface that is easy to use, offer robust support and resources. Okay, so this implies a support organization. Well, there's only me and an AI, so ChatGPT is going to be our support organization. This will be fun. Data security and privacy. User data securely managed and stored. Implement strong data privacy practice to build user trust. That makes sense. This kind of suggests things like data at rest kind of problems and so forth, right? Efficiency and performance, optimize the platform for high performance, handling large volumes of data seamlessly. I have no idea what that means. Provide tools that simplify complex data integration tasks. I also don't know what that means. Okay. Scalability, yeah. Innovation and improvement. Okay, that makes sense. The other thing I kind of want to, so if we're going to be in the data field, the thing to kind of think about is that data sovereignty really matters. So if we have somebody's data set and it's a European data set, we don't want to actually get into the world of shifting this to accidentally shifting this into the United States, right? So let's remind it. Key points from the mission. Yes, so this sounds good. Oops. Yes, please allow. Yes, yes, this sounds good, comma. But let's make sure we add the following. Data sovereignty to ensure that, oops, I misspelled that. It can fix that typo. Data sovereignty to ensure that the data we're managing does not cross borders. Next one would be sort of being cloud agnostic. So because, and this also has a data sovereignty kind of component to it, right? We want to build something in such a way that we can deploy it to any cloud that is out there, right? So for example, I don't want to have to tell a customer in Germany that our cloud only runs on AWS and AWS's corporate governance is run out of the United States. No, right? So I want to be able to deploy to generic cloud that lives in Germany. So we'll go with that. Okay. So cloud agnostic. So we are not restricted to public. What's this? Warning, please configure both primary and something else. I'm getting an error here on GPT. Sorry, on the streaming software. But since it's a warning, we're going to ignore it for now, and I'll figure it out later. So we are not restricted to public clouds that have corporate headquarters outside of um, our customers' geographic region. Okay. Um, and I think the other thing we kind of want to do is we want to make it. Yeah, actually, let's stick with that. Okay. So um, there we go. That vision looks a lot better. Fantastic. Yeah, efficiency and performance, scalability. Yeah, this actually looks really good. Okay. Well, yes, this meets our expectations. Expectations. Fantastic. All right. And with that, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pause for a moment because it seems like there's a little bit of a little chaos going on in my house. So thank you so much, and I will continue this sometime on Friday. Thank you.